Okay, everyone. Ira will ask you to start to lower the music a little bit down. So, welcome everyone to the Honest Talks. And before I start, I just want to welcome everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces that we come together very often, and new faces. So, welcome everyone to these Honest Talks. Let's just open the microphone and say hello, everyone, with your voice so we can hear each other. We are speaking about relationships. So we
Hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Everybody.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you all.
Uh,
Hi.
so good to hear your voices. So, and now I will ask you to mute your microphone so we don't hear interference when we are speaking. So, everyone, I'm very happy to be here. Just to mute the microphone so we can just go on. I'm very happy to be here speaking about this theme that is one of our main themes in life, that is relationships. We are opening these honest talks that we aim to really bring situations, themes about our life, spiritualities, personal growth, curiosities, but they are meaningful to our daily life, including death. How can we support someone dying? How can we prepare ourselves to die? So it's going to be from love to traumas to health to financial themes, but how all of this really really condition or help us to grow. So this honest talks will not be very, theoretical. I want to engage with you. I want to listen to you, uh, but from a point that we are very honest and very authentic, not just engaging as, here is Satya. Maybe someone you don't know me, let's listen this woman, what does she has to say. Now let's engage from a very authentic place where we open to curiosity, where we open ourselves to listen to other opinions, something that maybe it's for the first time, maybe it's not, maybe I already knew, but I'm here totally present so we can really expand our consciousness and even bringing some transformation, even confirm your speaking language. Russian, I believe it's English, correct? Everyone is listening in English. Okay, perfect, safe. So these honest talks will not happen every Monday or every Tuesday. We will launch sometimes like this. Next 3 weeks, we have this theme. So you need to be attentive because it's not something that will be regular every week, but will be by episodes. And here we are all in this relationship conversation. So this honest talk will be divided by 3 sessions. And these 3 sessions, we aim to explore the most important topics for relationships. I know that we will not be able to touch everything. Maybe we will open second season for relationships. So the first session, we want to speak about longing and patterns, what make us look for love, what drown us to love, what drown us to each other. Is conscious or unconscious? What are we really seeking in love? The second session will be about struggles and fears and traumas and how we really bring that into our relationships and how we sabotage our relationships because we are not aware about our patterns. And this will be not, I already know what my patterns are. Because honestly, this week for me, let me just do this here. This week for me, I was I was shocked with myself. Because when we open a topic, at least in my life, that I start to give to people, like in a school, in a retreat, that topic opens for me totally. So this week was very intense in terms of loving relationship. I really had to review my life. I had to review the subtleness of patterns that they are so strong that bring me to a point of repeating, not from an emotional place where we go to desperation or huge conflicts, but to see how it's still here, and only through awareness and consciousness and deep honesty we can change something. So the second session will be very deep too. And the third one, that I believe it will not be the last, but will be the final one for this first season, it will be about growth. How can we really grow together? What are the main tools that we have in our hands, in our heart, in our rational mind? What can we do together to really empower each other, but mainly to become one as a relationship without losing our individuality? How can we grow to help and support each other to grow without losing our individuality, but without selling oneness? Because many times people fight between individuality and unity. How can we embrace the third person, the third entity that is us, without losing myself? So I believe it's going to be very profound, as we can all create together. So I would like just to ask you something. Is this theme very important for you? You can open or just say yes with your microphone, or no.
Yes.
Definitely,
Yes.
yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Very.
Yes.
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 Absolutely.
I believe that the foundation of society is the union between people, not only as a couple, as a society, as a community, but especially as a couple. When we start to engage with someone and we can again believe in love, that we can believe again in trust, that we can risk our personal life and our individuality for belonging, for open ourselves beyond the wounds, beyond the trauma, because there's always a risk when we open ourselves to love, because we can be wounded again, pain can come again. When we can risk that, is one of the deepest spiritual journeys that we can take, because we need to go beyond personality structure, what we are used to, how I feel safe by myself. We need to see what our wounds are and how they sabotage us, and we need to go beyond them and heal them. That means if I can heal, means that part of the world can heal too. If part of the world can heal, if my family can find love, if I find love as the foundation of human relationships, maybe our society can transform. So today, I would love to bring all these topics. Let's see if we can. That is, what do we truly seek in these relationships, romantic relationships? Is love, is excitement, is safetiness? What is the difference between conscious longing, what I really long from my heart, from my soul, what I aspire to live? Or it's an unconscious need that I'm not aware. It's my trauma, it's my wound. Do I have a need for recognition, for being needed, to be saved by someone? Do we seek love or do we seek validation? So what is the difference between this conscious longing and unconscious needs, and how these expectations that we all have shapes disappointment. How can we translate expectation or transform expectation into curiosity, that feeling that opens our heart to really, be open to that person, to learn with her, to listen what's her smell, why she likes these certain things, why she craves for others, why she is afraid in other areas of her life. Not against us, but because her life and because her inner life is totally different from us. So are we trying to fix something through love? Or we are really aiming for partnership? So how can we recognize relationship partners, not partners, patterns? Are we repeating wounds of the past? So what is the childhood wound impact in our love and choices? The type of people that we attract, and how can we shift from reacting to choosing love consciously? The myth of perfect partner, because most of people, we say, no, I know it's not real, a perfect partner, but is it true? Or are you still in that aiming or thinking that the person needs to fit your checklist? But when that person doesn't fit your checklist, can you have resilience to grow with that person? Do you have maturity to speak openly about that person? Because normally we think we have an honest, authentic communication, but we are really afraid. We don't really say exactly what we think. So what do we really want from a partner? What do I want to experience? So all these questions, that there's even more here today. Let's see if we can dive into all. I want to start by saying that in United Nations, United States, we have 44% rate of divorces. 44%. It's almost half of population separating. And in Europe, we have around 20%. So can you please turn off the micro, and then I will open the questions, okay? If you want to write your questions, and then will be a moment that I will stop and I will read all the questions. So what are the primary reasons of divorce? So in divorce, I will read so I don't forget anything. First of all, the main one in this generation is lack of commitment. People in our days are very afraid to commit. And that makes me question, why are we afraid of commitment? Are we afraid of responsibility? Are we tired of what a relationship brings to us, that we need to work consistently and daily in that relationship? Infidelity is the second reason of divorce. Many people now, and I believe since ever, infidelity means that we are not happy at home with what we have, what we build. There's something that is lacking in my relationship, and I need to look outside for that. And many times in my years of work with people, I even saw that sometimes infidelity was saving the marriage. But when I was working with people, I was asking, what are you trying to look outside of your relationship that you can't find here? And we went through journeys, and most of the time people couldn't find true intimacy. They couldn't express their true feelings. They couldn't be honest because they were afraid to hurt the other. They were afraid to lose the other if they were honest. So infidelity is not a reason per se. is by the opposite, is the product of the true problems that exist in that relationship. The third big reason is financial problems. So when there's scarcity in the family, in the relationship, most of people, they start to fight against each other and they do not cooperate. The fourth one that they say that is the fourth one in the studies is lack of communication. I believe that is the first one. There's nothing that in those reasons that is not based on communication. All the conflicts, disagreements, that we can share what we think, what we need. It's about true, authentic, and honest communication. This is the most, I think, is the biggest topic of all relationships, but especially in partnerships. What I see for myself and for all of us is most of us, we start a relationship in love and full of passion, and everything is possible. We don't sleep at night. We make love for months. We drive kilometers to meet the other person. We do, you know, we do everything. And then with daily life, what happens is we start to be tired. There's challenge. We start to engage in each other. We start to see what the difficulties of each other, but mainly those difficulties that are difficulties that born with our childhood, and for people that you believe in other dimensions, maybe in other past lives, or even from the trauma that your lineage is giving you through your DNA and emotional content. Now with the transgenerational trauma, we know that most of people that their own lineage were in wars, they have a tendency for conflict. Lineage that they had sexual abuse is the lineage that we see with more sexual abuse. Alcohol and drugs, we see the same, that the alcohol and drugs, sexual abuse, premature death, they travel through lineage. So when my traumas and your traumas, they start to meet, there's an inner life that we are not aware that they start to relate. And that relationship through the subconscious is very strong. Many times we are relating with each other, not from the present person, the heart consciousness, but we are relating with each other from the suppressed emotions, from our fears and traumas. And it's where we start to withdraw, is where we start to defend ourselves, is when we start to avoid true conversations. That in the beginning of relationships, everything was a miracle, a joy. So communication issues are the base, in my opinion, after all these years, more and more, they are the base of the difficulties of any relationship. Because to have authentic and honest communication, we need to do a deep inner process to know ourselves, to know not only our qualities, but to know our difficulties. And we are really afraid to know them. We are really afraid to face them. It's not easy to face how afraid we are to be abandoned. And we do everything to project on the other, saying that the other doesn't give attention enough. And many examples like this. And the last one that I thought a little bit curious when I was reading this study is marrying too young, to commit too young, because people are in a phase of growth, and many times when we marry young, then we grow apart because our interests are totally different with our maturity. So what do we truly seek in a relationship? I would like to listen. What do we really seek? What do you think you are looking in a relationship? Tell me. You can say one word each person, one by one.
Trust.
Trust,
Intimacy and connection.
intimacy, and connection.
In English, it's intimacy, but in Russian, it's like родная душа. Basically, it's a soul that is like very intimate for you. It's something like very personal.
Soul connection.
Yeah, soul connection.
Honest
Respect.
Acceptance, I would say.
acceptance,
Companionship.
Respect.
compassion, true partnership,
Love.
security,
Love.
love,
Empathy.
empathy, respect. So as you see, all these qualities that you are looking for are qualities that by itself can be found in a friendship or in a father or a mother. You can find in your brother and sister. I would say that all relationships that they are romantic and we want to build a true partnership in life, that is to build a life, all these qualities are the base of that relationship to long last. But there's something that needs to happen, that is a spark, that is physical intimacy, that is to be naked, not only physical, but to be naked in front of that person, and that person can be naked in front of us. A place where even if we don't agree about everything that that person is doing or saying, we can have a safe place where we can undress all the masks, all the roles, and to be who we are. So in sexuality, to have a true sexual bond, not only in the chemistry in the first meeting, where you can grow pleasure and pleasure year by year through what you go through together, that intimacy, that trust is the base for that sexual encounters, meetings, but not only for you to trust that you can be yourself and you will not be rejected. You can be pointed, you can know that the other person say, I don't agree with you, but at the same time, there's no criticism and rejection. Is simply, even if I don't agree with you, even if I have an opposite opinion, I stand by you. I'm here with you, telling you honestly what I think. So normally what we seek in partnerships, romantic partnerships, is everything that you said, but I will repeat: acceptance, intimacy, trust, honesty. And trust and honesty, they are the foundation of this mutual trust and open communication. You can't really be who you are if you don't trust that person. So there's a huge work when that trust is broken between partners to recover that trust. And sometimes some partners, as you know, life is not black or white. I believe that life is not even about what is correct or incorrect, especially in love. Because as we know, a lot of people are, they are not faithful because they are looking something external. But when a person can come to the relationship and be honest, there's many ways of healing. It's not only one way. Some partners, it's about honesty. Other partners, they will never say, but they don't repeat. Something brought them to that place and learn with that. Other partners, they need to do the same to the person that did that to them, so they feel equal. Others, they just put behind. So there's so many ways. But at the end, what we all look for is that honesty and trust. How can I surrender and relax in this relationship? And this is one of the main questions. But my question is, how can we relax and surrender to anyone if we don't trust ourselves? If we have the same issues that most of us carry? So normally we are looking for emotional support, mutual respect, physical intimacy, and as Tolstoy said, I will repeat, when you love someone, you love the whole person, just as he or she is, and not as you would like them to be. So how can we love a person from a real sense of respecting the person exactly how that person is, and not how we think that person should be? So is the relationship a place of opportunity for us all to grow? Is the relationship the biggest journey that we can all take? There was a moment in my life that I decided that I would never have a relationship anymore. And of course, life is very curious and paradox, and brought me a new opportunity to have a relationship. I even had a commitment, a spiritual commitment, to be a spiritual nun. And I was really in that. And of course, was very peaceful, very pleasant. I had time to heal myself. And we all need times of loneliness, of solitude, being with ourselves. And life brought me a gift that was a new opportunity that I was not even watching. But through that new opportunity of relating from a place of more maturity, that helps me to be honest in a place of raw honesty, not against the other, but because if I'm open to a relationship, is to live from a place that I never lived before. So is a relationship this deepest opportunity of a spiritual journey that can bring us to places of what spiritual master teachers are telling us, place of healing, where we embrace our shadow, we meet our challenge and fears and traumas, because in intimacy, everything comes to the surface. Is this relationship, partnership, romantic partnership, an opportunity to blossom into compassion, true compassion, that we understand the difficulties, even if we don't agree, but we somehow we have this feeling that I'm here by your side no matter what. Can we surrender to love and to forgive what is unforgivable many times? Can we put the other person many times in front of us, not because we don't care about ourselves, because that person in that momentum needs, and we have enough to do that? Can we see romantic partnership not only has this seduction and spark in the beginning, that is wonderful, that we aim, that goes on a long lasting life, but can we see this partnership as the deepest journey that we can take, that will bring us to our inner journey, the ones that we need to look inside, that we need to be honest, that we need to be responsible, that we need to grow up and to say, yes, it's true. It's really hard to listen that, but you are being true. That really reflects. So can be the relationship a mirror? It's not mirror only what the other mirrors to us, but to reveal who we truly are. So what are the main triggers in the relationship that reveals our true emotions, hidden emotions, or the best qualities that we have, and we can even be proud of us. So when we have a conflict or an argument, one of the main tools in relationships, even if we feel pain in that moment, that pain is triggered, and any self-protective defense mode mechanism appears, like being angry, shouting, shutting down, not wanting to talk because the pain was triggered. Can we come to a point of awareness of ourselves and understand what is this momentum revealing about myself and not focus so much in the other? Can we, for a moment of presence, understand what is going on here? What is the wound that is showing me? What is the fear that I'm feeling? What is the longing? Because it can be a longing to, like, I don't want this in a relationship. I don't want to be disrespected. I really long for a true partner that respects me in a place that we can have a conversation. So at the end, I believe that we don't fall in love by the person itself. We fall in love by what the other person makes us feel. And so if we fall in love by what the other person makes us feel, is that true love? Is that person a tool of the mystery of life to help us to see what we really need, what is our longing? So, questions. If we stop seeing the relationship that is something that happens to us, happens to us, but instead that is something that happens for us, so we can have more touch with what is really happening to us, inside of us, that normally we avoid. Maybe these relationships are forcing us, are giving us the opportunity to ask, can we recognize what triggers me? Can I take responsibility for what is mine? Can I use this mirror, not to judge, but to grow? So at the end, it's not about who is the perfect person or partner, but it's about becoming that person. Because most of the time, we attract people not from our consciousness vibration. We attract by the powerful subconsciousness that we repress since we're born because we are afraid of pain. So imagine if you were dismissed, if you had any form of abuse, neglected, if as a child you were watching conflicts or rejection, almost for sure, if you don't really work on yourself, if you don't take the opportunity to work in yourself, you will attract a person that will bring you exactly there. Because at the end, it's you that you are looking for that to resolve. At the end, you are looking for to heal and expand. So in this moment, I want to invite you to, more than trying to understand your partner, to really understand yourself. A lot of people, and most of us, we already had very ugly fights with our partners. If not now, in your past. So you were shouting, maybe you were pushing each other, maybe you were saying, you know, bad words to each other. Maybe you were saying things that you don't even believe. Where all of that was coming. Where that bad words were coming. Where your aggressiveness was coming. It was really about this relationship, or was something inside of you that was waiting for an opportunity to come up, to be seen. So at the end, what is the difference between conscious longing, what we really aim in a relationship, and what is the difference between unconscious needs? And this difference is very important because sometimes our need, we think we need something, but what we need is not what is really right for us. Because most of the times these needs, unconscious needs, they are patterns that take us to the same situation, to the same feelings. When we long consciously, we feel that we are present, that we are calm, there's an aspiration and expansion. When his unconscious need is very nervous, is full of desperation or full of numbness, I don't care anymore. So, how can we understand when we are in the relationship with someone, where are we coming from in that momentum? By observing your body, by allowing yourself to feel what is going on, you have access to the information of your nervous system that is telling you the story of your life. So when we are consciously understanding our motivation, we are aware of our intentions. So when we can't understand the motivation, we just have a strong feeling like control, attachment, rage, and we are confused and we are under control of that intensity, means that we are out of presence. How can we use those momentums in the momentum that is happening to help ourselves to come back to who we are and not be focused on that person? Because normally when we are focused in that person, we are focused in one thought. That is the thought that is in the journey of your life since you born till now. That is, that person is attacking me. I am being attacked. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I don't have any meaning. So that person is attacking my value, my existence. For example, when you have a conscious longing, you say, you feel, I would love to have a partner so I can share my life, so I can create something with that partner. But I know that I'm good by myself. I know that I can work. I know that I can create I know that even if I have difficulties and I'm growing, I know that I love myself. I can defend myself. I can take care of myself. When we are in unconscious needs, we feel a desperation to be with someone because we feel incomplete, because without the other, I'm no one, because I don't like to be lonely. So, are you in a relationship, or have you already feel these unresolved wounds, emptiness, fears? Have you ever felt that? That means that if you felt that, it's part of you that needs attention and needs care. and they are waiting for your attention. They are waiting for you to turn. But most of us, we are taught not to give attention to ourselves. We were taught to give attention to external life, to status, to what I can conquer and have only, and not to be. So I believe to conquer, and if of course we come from poverty, it's normal that we want to conquer so we don't taste poverty again. But even if we conquer that, one day we need to conquer ourselves, to have a true, authentic relationship. Because if we don't conquer our inner spaces, our inner landscape, how can we share that with someone? And how can we invite someone to our home? So all of us, we create deep expectations that the other person will fulfill our unconscious needs. Because somehow our inner child is in that situation that is asking to mother and father to say, save me, feed me, love me. And it's incredible how after so many years of work and so many people with 70, when we go deep in their journey of inner discovery, they tell me, my God, Satya, how I was still needing for recognition and validation at 70 years old. And we always come to a point so beautiful that we arrive here, so you can fulfill that. So when we have strong expectations, and these are unconscious, this is not conscious, that the other person will fulfill our unmet needs that we carry for a long time. Normally, what happens is a deeper disappointment. The bigger the expectation, the bigger the disappointment in relationship. So question for you. Did you ever felt highly disappointed with someone that you were in a relationship?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Of course.
Many times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over and over again.
Oh my God. So
Every
question
day.
for you, all of you. What that disappointment says about your unconscious expectations. What were you disappointed? Was about what? It's an inner question that you can do now. You can even write this question so on the next session we can speak. If I had disappointments, that is expectations that they were not met, and also self-disappointment, exactly. That means, would you really see the truth about yourself and what you were projecting on the other? Even about yourself, would you see what you were expecting about yourself, but maybe you couldn't really deal with reality? Your own reality? So I would like to invite you to write like biggest expectations that you had in someone or on yourself, and the biggest, the disappointment. And from disappointment, you go to the needs that you wanted to be met. So at the end, normally expectations are silent contract that you made, that we project on other people or on ourselves, assuming that certain things will unfold in a certain way. But when it doesn't happen, we are sad and we are mad. But maybe we created a movie how it should be, but we didn't realize that reality, our inner reality and other people's reality, was totally the opposite. Imagine betrayal. In my life, I would attract a lot of betrayal. And why? as most of you, you know, and maybe some of you don't know, and you, of course, you didn't need to know anything. But in my private life, when I was 5 years old, I started to have sexual abuse. And sexual abuse is, it was for me a huge betrayal, because my stepfather was a person that I really adored, was the person that was there for me every day till 13 years old. So there was a betrayal in my love. So through my life, I observed that I was attracting people that were betraying not only men, but women too. Why? Because I felt betrayed by my mother, that she couldn't save me, she couldn't protect. So somehow I was attracting these women and men. Not only, it was not even in romantic relationships, was in partnership, friendship. And I was realizing when I started, to look directly, why I was still attracting this. Because something in me was still in that story, that the world was a dangerous place, that I couldn't trust because something could happen. And only when those situations were happening, I could see how I could not put healthy boundaries, how I could not really be honest to, how I couldn't say what I really think. And of course, I would have an expectation of the behavior of that person that person could meet. So I felt betrayed many times. So I want you to understand what were your disappointments, and from those disappointments to go to your expectation, and what those expectations are covering as your true needs. Because when we start to, I will go to the questions in 10 minutes, I believe. When we start to really understand our true needs, we start to find ways, exercises, and tools to meet their needs from a responsible point, or from a true point and responsible for our life. And then we can express to the other what I want, what I don't want, how can I negotiate, and things that I will never negotiate. So it's important that if you can, till the next session, you can put in front of you a paper, and you bring the most important relationships in your life, loving relationships. You put Maria, Manel, you put 4, 5, 10. And you start to describe what were the main conflicts that you had in all of them, and to see if you find a pattern. And then you see in all those conflicts why you were in that conflict and what you didn't get what you want. And the third item for this exercise is, did I express exactly what I wanted? If that person didn't respect me, could I come out or not? Why? Okay. Okay. So you can understand your unconscious patterns of childhood. Okay. Imagine that you were in a very chaotic family, that they would compare you to other people, that love was conditional. Most of sure you will be drawn to partners that will do the same to you. You need to understand if you ever felt worthy with someone or with yourself, if your value and self-esteem, they are dependent on something or someone external, and why, what happened to you. And to understand that most of us, we prefer a known toxic relationship and patterns than a healthy and known relationship. Many times people come to me and say, Satya, I do so much work, so many years, but somehow I'm drawn to the same pattern. And even if I have the possibility to relate in another way with another person that is totally different from what I'm used to, I choose what I'm used to, and it's toxic, and I know. It means that the trauma and the pattern is so deep stored in your cells, in your muscles, in your nervous system, that is not never enough the rational understanding. And even when you project and write your goals of what you will do, that is it's a tool to help you. But you need to create an environment and to have support in a way that you can unwire that known toxic environment. So the impact of our childhood wounds is immense, is beyond description. I see for myself, I see for all these people that I work all these last 70 years, even with a lot of work. And that's the beauty and the vulnerability of human being. Sometimes we fall into the same behaviors, we fall in the same patterns. But if we have a space that we can recognize that we can express, and we have someone that can embrace that, it's already a lot. But even if we don't have someone, but we can embrace ourselves in that, it's already a lot. Because we are not alone. So all the traumas somehow shape our definition of love. Most of people are traumatized, even if they know or even if they don't know. And what happens is normally love is entangled with pain. So we don't understand, we don't feel what is love, because love means pain. And that's the distortion. And that is the drama, the constant drama of relationships. So how can we heal the patterns? I put here a small list for us then to go to the questions, and we can discuss it in a deeper way. But questions that we should ask ourselves to heal patterns that we carry from this life since childhood, or from our ancestors, and all these transgenerational traumas, they live in us. So, am I choosing, questions that we need to ask ourselves, am I choosing love from a place of healing or from a place of wound? From a place of healing is all these conversations that we have with each other in the beginning, or if we have true intimacy. I know that I'm being very reactive. I know that is my pattern. I know already it's so strong today that I can't even ask you to kiss me, or I can't even ask for help. From a wound place, normally we project on the other person. We say that that person is behaving in a way, so we don't take responsibility. The next question is, do I recognize when a relationship feels familiar but unhealthy? I will repeat. Do I recognize when a relationship feels familiar but unhealthy? Means that you are in the core wound and you need to do something to transform that, and sometimes even to come out. Am I willing to rewire my beliefs about love and worthiness? Am I ready to let go what I think I know about love and to be open to something that even strange for me, because I don't know how to love without conflicts, because I don't know how to love without having arguments and to blame the other. I miss that. Are you ready to give that step? And to break the cycle, to change the relationships that normally we attract. Are you ready to understand what you carry and what you really want to start carrying? Are you ready to face yourself and not the other? Are you ready to ask yourself if you are choosing partners from your wounds or from what you are worth? From your worth. Are you ready to understand that people treat you the way you allow them? Are you ready to admit to yourself that if you have a person shouting, blaming, fighting with you, not taking responsibility, and divide the responsibilities of life with you, it's because you allow it? Because you wanted to be the good guy or the good woman, the one who controls? Are you ready? Because without facing, we will keep on allowing people to treat us in ways that once we were treated or we believe that we deserve. So I believe that healing is not about waiting for the perfect relationship, but is a place where we say, I will not repeat the old story no matter what. No matter if I'm burning in the fire of desire. Because normally desire and those huge flames, they point to what we know. So we interact with that. Are you ready to read the red flags, to be aware of your patterns? And no matter how you feel burning in desire, you take a step back and say, is this really what I want to live? I remember once that I fall in love immediately, not immediately, but you know, these passion momentums that sometimes happens. And I understood that person was an alcoholic. My stepfather was an alcoholic in this status family, but he was an alcoholic. And I saw how I had a tendency for people that would drink alcohol. And I would never drink alcohol because of the smell. But how I was drawn to it immediately. And I remember that day I said, Satya, you know this movie. That movie will not happen again. And against all this burning desire, against the charming man, intelligent man, a poet, a philosopher, even he was, you know, seducing with those qualities, because things that I love and I respect, I said, no. It's the time that I stop saying yes to this, no to that, and yes to myself. So are you ready? Because sometimes we need to go against ourselves, our desires, our even the other qualities that we see in the person. So I have here many more things, but I believe that we need to go to the questions. Here I will speak in the other session, these things that I don't have talked today, but I would like to give attention to your questions and to any comment that you would like to do. So resuming before we go, I will ask, before we go to the questions, I will ask you just to close your eyes and I will read you a small text that I wrote to finalize and to resume. For me, and I hope it can help you. We will go to the questions in one moment. Take a deep breath, everyone. Close your eyes and allow these words to sink inside of you. And if resonates, fantastic. If not, fantastic. Listen them as keys to your own consciousness that awake certain bells, certain doors, and that's it. Relationships, the deepest spiritual journey. Love is not just an emotion, it is a path, a sacred journey that takes us beyond ourselves. In relationships, we are given a mirror, a teacher, and an opportunity to walk the most profound spiritual path, not alone, but together. To truly love is to be seen and to see the another, beyond masks, beyond stories, beyond fear, beyond trauma. It is to embrace the light and the shadow, the moments of ecstasy and the moments of challenge, knowing that both are necessary for growth. As Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, for one human being to love another, that is perhaps the most difficult of all our tasks, the ultimate, the last test and proof, the work for which all other work is but a preparation. I will repeat. For one human being to love another, that is perhaps the most difficult of all our tasks, the ultimate, the last test and proof, the work for which all other work is but the preparation. Relationships are not here to complete us, but to invite us into wholeness. They can call us to confront our wounds, to surrender control, to practice trust, and to embody love, not as an idea, but that as a way of being. In the presence of another, we learn patience, forgiveness, and the sacred art of letting go. We learn that love is not possession, but devotion, not attachment, but presence. We learn that true intimacy is not about never being hurt, but about having the courage to stay open, even when it is hard. A relationship, then, is the most profound spiritual practice, a space where two souls meet, not to expect, but to awaken together. It is a journey not toward to perfection, but toward to truth. Not toward to sameness, but toward to deeper union. If you are willing, if you are courageous, if you dare to love with open hands and open hearts, then every relationship, every touch, every silence, every struggle becomes a step toward to the divine. Take a deep breath. I wrote this some minutes before our meeting, because I believe that we approach relationships in this time of psychotherapy in a very rational way. And more, I believe that we really live a spiritual life, and relationships are the most, I believe, important door for our growth, if we are courageous. And I know that 3 sessions will be never enough to really speak about relationships, but it can start to open questions, to realize what we already healed, to realize what we already conquered, to understand what we still need to walk and heal and grow, and how we can surrender to true compassion. And I saw a person that really hurted me. And in that ceremony came and said, so you forgave your stepfather. Why don't you forgive this person? And at the end, this is about love. That we, even if it's hard to walk that path, to understand that we are not forgiving, that is really hard for us to confront that. And in that confrontation, in that acceptance, what is not easy, we know where is the road. That is the opposite, is softness, lightness, courage. And it's not easy, it's not easy. And sometimes to even let go is the biggest act of love, to say it's enough. That person will learn a lot with your limits, with your boundaries. So everyone, I will read here some questions since the beginning. Take a deep breath, everyone. I have a question. And when the sexual drive is different and change more along the way, especially after women giving birth and are less available, what is acceptable regarding frequency and how to deal with expectations, stages of life, hormonal changes, libido drop, etc. So I believe that we all go through stages, not only hormonal, but hormonal too. Sometimes we have more focus to our work. We are creating a project that demands. Sometimes we have the kids, sometimes we have hormonal, sometimes we have depression. I believe there's no, how do you say, what is acceptable regarding frequency. I think that is, I'm not saying that you are, I'm saying that is a very rational approach of our society. We can't say that what is acceptable. The only thing that can be acceptable is what you and your partner speaks openly about. And if that takes you to separation, is exactly what is happening to you. But if through communication, if through explanations, through expression, through exposure, and you can find a way to meet, is where you are walking through. So I would say that, of course, we need to get help in questions of hormones therapy. How can we rise our libido? What is happening to us? How can we support ourselves? Of course, but it's not about the frequency that is, how do you say, acceptable. It's about what you and your partner can meet. This is what I believe. Okay, and I want to tell that it's normal that after giving birth, there's periods, but there's a lot of women that they even have more libido after birth. So it's never the same for everyone, but it's frequently that the libido lowers because you are tired, because you are giving all your nutrients to the babies. So it's important that you and your husband can reflect and have true information, and you can discuss and support each other. Okay. I hope is enough for you. Let me see another question. If two people often fall in love based on their own inner child trauma and their nervous system matching, does that mean those relationships are fundamentally unhealthy, or can two people still find true love through the journey of becoming conscious and healing together despite the initial attraction being based on unconscious inner child reactions and traumas? I believe yes, totally. I believe most of us, we relate from those wounded inner child experience that shapes how we perceive love and life. But if there is true commitment there, if there is a true connection, and both they want, I think is the perfect ground for us to grow, is the perfect platform for both to surrender to healing and to walk that path together. And both can support. When we have a true commitment, I think everything is possible. Everything is possible. So yes, I would say go for it and believe it, but needs two, not only one. Of course, there's certain moments, if the wound is more open in one, we can have the hope, the intelligence, the support for the other. And then sometimes it will be the other for us. But the commitment needs to be there. Even if the other in certain moments say, I don't believe anymore, I can't do this anymore. And we need to remind ourselves that we did a commitment and we can do it. So yes, I believe yes. I will go down. Also self-disappointment that we spoke when I was speaking. And here another question. How to deal with a relationship when one is self-reflecting, and by this clearing, working on the wounds that are reflected by the other, and the other is not observing the triggers, no self-reflection, only pointing outside. How can they grow together? That is a question that a lot of people go through. I believe that is a hard path. Because if you are not partners in growth, if you are not partners in consciousness, in commitment to make your relationship more conscious and more intimate in that sense, you need to have a resilience that you do the work for yourself and you wait for the other. And maybe you will confront a moment that you will not want to wait. Maybe you will become very tired. And then you ask your question, do I have enough hope and patience to stay resilient to wait for my husband? But normally, I believe that if we don't meet in a certain moment, for what I see in life, people separate. Because for the person that is working on herself, himself, it's very hard not to have a partner in true, honest communication. Because if I don't do my work, I don't take responsibility in myself, I don't see that I have a wound and I need recognition, that I need to, you know, to be accepted, that I am greedy, that I project that greediness in you. So it's very hard when a person doesn't take responsibility for their own inner life and emotions, wounds, belief system. So if they are not ready, the question is for you, are you ready to wait? Maybe one life, maybe 1 month, maybe 10 years, maybe 10,000 lives. The question I will leave back to you or to the person that you are you ready to wait? Because if you are, it's your choice, it's your conscious choice. Yes. Another question here. How can we understand if we need to stay in a relationship or should leave when there is a lot of pain and arguments accumulated? So I would ask for support to clarify exactly that. Because here, as you say, I believe that pain and love are entangled. So there's a misconception of what love is. Sometimes you think excitement is excitement, but it's not. It's just, you know, toxic emotions, that is conflict all the time. There's no respect. And we need to understand what are your true principles and values and the other person, if they meet, if you are ready, both of you, to work on healing and to have exercise and tools to diminish the arguments and to change and transform these arguments in true conversations. Are you ready to be honest with each other, and each other are you ready to listen to what the other person is saying? So I would do therapy to understand exactly where you are. And here I have Sara saying, Satya, a selva salvou a minha relação comigo mesma, a minha relação com a vida, obrigada por tanto. Thank you, Sara. Yes, the work that we do in the jungle with the teacher plants in Amazon is for sure one of the most incredible works that I know. Doesn't mean that is the only, and doesn't mean that works by itself. I believe that the complementary between psychotherapy, the modern one, with the ancient wisdom, with meditation, with self-inquiry, breath work, dance, exposure work, emotional healing, all together, they allow us to see ourselves from different corners, including holidays. Sometimes we need to stop working in ourselves and go on holidays. And through holidays, we really see where we are. Has that saying in English, if you really want to see where you are, go and spend a week with your mother and father at home. And we see ourselves if we are ready, everything is helping us to see where we are. We will send you all these questions. Ricardo, thank you so much for the summary of the most of the questions. And we will send you what I was today preparing, so for you to have it. Do not worry. And here's Sophia. I came out of survival mode when I did 50 years old, and I have an impact, a very strong experience on the retreat of working with Satya. I'm recovering since then. I do all these questions every day. I don't know if I will have a relationship again, but I want to go on growing as a human being and learning to love myself and to be a better human being. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to you too, that you take your life, in your hands. And here we say, what is a healthy relationship? That is a very huge question and very simple. The relationship that you feel home, I believe that you can feel that you can be yourself because you already are yourself with you, but that person nurtures that part, creates that field, I think is almost everything. What is healthy or not is something that will be totally different for each other, because we are such a complex human beings. We have our childhood conditioning, we have traumas, we have positive experience, we have all the information from our DNA and emotional content. We have the collective unconscious that we all create. We have other species and beings in other dimensions that interact with us. So healthy will depend exactly where you position yourself. What is healthy for you, maybe for me is not healthy. Maybe for me is not enough. Maybe for you is not enough. So that would be a question for each one of us. What is a healthy question, a healthy relationship? For me, for example, a relationship that I don't have spiritual intimacy is very empty. So even if sexuality is great, it falls apart. An example. So we need to know how to answer these questions. Isn't it some way what we experience is what we're supposed to be experienced, so that we enjoy the true conflict in which then lead to comprehension? Totally. I think The imperfection of life is the perfect life. Somehow the mystery of life is always giving us exactly what we need. Has a human being, has a soul, and has a human species. So all darkness and all light, all the wars, all the sexual abusing, for example, for myself, was needed. Without that, I would never be who I am. I would never be here. Maybe I would be a totally different person. So yes, I totally agree. But of course, there's an evolution. We can all evolve, we can all grow. So if we can protect children not to be sexual abuse, it's a great evolution that goes through my healing, your healing, and the same for war, and the same for human rights, and the same for the rights of the planet Earth. And I believe that we are all here to do that. And some more questions. What question would you invite to ask when one finds themselves in a place where they aren't sure if they should be in a relationship? Let me check time. It's 8:25. Everyone, let me just check your face, everyone. I will open your window. Sorry, here. Everyone, do we have 10 more minutes? Are you enjoying? Okay, so 10 more minutes. I would end at 8:35, but let's do 10 more minutes for you, for your life, for your kids. So when we don't know if we should be in that relationship, normally I say, go to find support, because sometimes we need someone that asks us the right questions. But questions that I would do myself is like, what are my main principles? What I want to experience in a relationship? I want to experience trust, authentic communication, that I can be myself and the other is themselves. I don't want someone that is not authentic. It's examples. I want to experience a person that is not afraid, that I can grow, that I can be big, and I want to support the other one. And you need to understand what you want to experience in your relationship, in a relationship, and what are your main core values. And then to understand what is going on in your relationship. Is this happening or not? And to discuss with the other person if you can match together. Because sometimes we can't. Sometimes I want to live a life that I want to surf all day, or I want to journey all day, all the year, I want to go around the world. And the other person says, no, sorry, but I don't want to go around the world. I love my family. I want to live here, right here on their side. So to understand exactly where you stand and what both of you want from life. Here, trying to project in me. Another question. Yes, we will listen this. It's being recorded. Ricardo, thank you so much for writing all this. We will. Vanessa. Satya, if we didn't deal with violence in childhood with our parents, each other's, why we accept violence in a relationship? What can be the wound? And then another with psychological violence and physical violence. If you are attracted to violence, maybe it's because you repress so much your angriness and rage that somehow you attract people that they express that very well. Very well is not well, it's like they express, they use that. So you allow yourself to live through them. Is what we in psychology, we say that that person in a couple, for example, they are living through the other things that they reject or they are afraid. So maybe I would look to those relationships and that pattern around violence and ask myself, am I violent? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm afraid. It comes out. I need someone even so I can project that violence. So I would bring to myself. Or you will find this is a wound that I never healed before. And now I have the opportunity to come out, to heal, to transform through healthy boundaries. So I can start to say no. So I can start to say yes to myself. So of course, it's a question that needs deep understanding of what is going on, your life, the patterns. So I could give you a more proper answer. Another one from Katerina. I ended a toxic relationship over a year ago. I continued to think about that person every day. I went on a path of discovering myself, and I could see the trauma and pain. And I questioned whether it is possible to start with the same person and create a healthy relationship. I believe that yes, but needs two to commit with that. Needs two to understand the patterns, needs two to recognize the triggers and stop, and to transform what was the pattern and in a new healthy one. So it requires true commitment from both. This is a very complex theme. Part of these problems are related to personal disorders and people that had a good child life and upbringing. Doesn't need to have a hard life, of course. Where is the mirroring on these cases? The mirroring is mirror. I believe that the word mirror brings a lot of confusion. Mirror is not only mirroring, like if I do, you do too, or no, sometimes it brings us just the opportunity for us to decide what we really want. Just that. It's not something that we need to solve or to transform. Sometimes is I need to decide what I want in this situation. So the word mirror can be a little bit misconceptive. But even with a good life, sometimes we have some challenge. Sometimes we don't know what we want. We are afraid to express. So maybe the relationship is an opportunity to see what we want to implement or what we need to choose. Where there is a pattern of behavior here, I didn't understand that part. When a relationship ends, sometimes it's hard for me to let go. I have this thing of wanting to keep trying and hoping that we'll work and get together again, and the other person already move on. So many times I have a difficulty letting go people. Letting people in. So when I allow them, it's hard for me to let go. Also, sometimes I see unconsciously I'm attracted to qualities the other person has and that I admired and that I want to cultivate in me also. So it's like a way for me to learn totally. This last part, totally. I believe that many times we fall in love even for people that we admired and we want to cultivate that in us. And that is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But that is a part of our needs to love. It's from a conscious point. And if you are aware of that, it's a passage to that love, that we consciously understand what is there and we choose that. But in the first part of your question that really moves a lot, I can really feel the beauty of this question at the end, the honesty on this question. It is a feeling that comes from here, and of course I would love to go deeper. That is, sometimes we can truly love, we can really open, we can really surrender, we can really devote ourselves, we can really commit. And to do that, if it's not superficial, if it's really with totality, we give everything, we give our heart, we we give our time, we give our devotion, we create a life together. Of course, if it was true, it's not easy to let go. It's never easy. We know that maybe it's better. Maybe we need to arrive to that point, but it's never easy because we had those dreams, we had this openness, we surrendered, we gave it all. But the question is, when it's over, why do you fight for a person that is not there anymore? That would be my question for you. Because here you say the other person already moved on. And this is the question. I think this is the specific point. Why you keep on, why do you keep attachment to a person that already moved on? Because you can say, I miss that person, it was so good. But to keep that attachment to a person that is already gone, I would say, I would turn to myself and I would ask, what do I don't love in me? What do I need to see in myself that needs my attention, my time, my own love? And of course, if the heart was broken, it's not so easy to open again for such a depth, because we know how much it takes. But at the end, what you will do to close yourself? As the Chinese says, the Japanese says, we put gold in the broken parts. And for me, that means all that wisdom, all that experience, all that pain becomes golden wisdom, so we can live the next love, the next relationship. And of course, people like you will not enter in superficial relationships because you have depth. So I would not even judge myself. I would know that I am that like that. And I want depth and I want true commitment. And I would not even accept less. I believe that you should not accept less, but turn attention for you about this point, about the why do I keep on following people that move on. I miss you all too. I see here beautiful message. Let me see, how many do I have here? 2 more. Okay, I will do these 2 more. Letting go can be very hard when you want to save the child of the other person. Yes, totally. Help her to grow. So there can be a life between the couple, but it only works if both want to evolve together. Yes, it's exactly the same answer that I give, I think it was to Ksenia. If the person, your partner, doesn't want to do their own work, you can't, you will never do for them. It's impossible. But you can hope, you can be patient, and you can stay. But that is your conscious decision. You can't blame them. You can't put that responsibility on them, because they have the right to choose not to do the work. They have their time, they have their fears, they have their wounds. Maybe they don't want to grow up sometimes. But it's your choice to stay. If you are committed to that, you know. But if not, I think so. It depends. If you are very Catholic, maybe you stay forever. Maybe if you are a person a little bit more connected with freedom in that sense, maybe you will move on. But it's your choice to wait. But you will never, never save anyone. The person needs, we help them to save themselves by our own example, by hope, by we never letting go. And sometimes even letting go is their opportunity to grow, because the impact of being alone is so big that they learn a big lesson. They start to look within, but only you will know what to do. And here the last one is, and when we love each other so much, after 18 years, we get many subjects still not resolved. Welcome to human relationships. Still not resolved. And the last years, we are always going through ups and downs, suffering a lot, but also being so happy. We have 2 kids, always work together. Our level of intimacy and complicity is unique, of course. 18 years, how? Of course. And I'm very happy that I still see people together for so long, even with all the challenge, but staying together in growth. That gives a lot of hope. We know our traumas have a huge role. We did couples therapy, we get better, and then we get worse again. We don't want to give up. We want to grow together and heal together. Should we keep trying? I think that answer is only yours. But if there is still love, if there's still opportunity in both of you, yes, why not? And maybe you can one day even separate in a very conscious way, not in a conflict way. But I hope you remain, because you give us a lot of hope that, you know, love, true love exists. Everyone, I hope this meeting could open some doors, could help you to think a little bit deeper, could help you to pass a good time together. But open inside of your heart questions like, what I really want from a relationship, what do I really seek in love, what is my responsibility? I hope that many of you can meet us at Alchemy of Love. That will be a 7-day retreat for couples and people that they are not in a relationship, but they want to dive in what is love, what is intimacy, what are true healthy boundaries, what is to live together. So, because in 1 hour and a half, we on live in cybernetic space and dimension, we go into this depth, but when we are together, you know, reality is totally different. And it's very joyful, and it's very beautiful, very deep, and very, very transformative for all of us, including to myself. I hope these honest conversations, honest talks can grow in the sense that we grow with it. I hope that next time I can manage time a little bit better. So I open the microphone for your questions live and I listen to you. So I will organize the time. I will give less topics so we have time to engage more. So everyone, all my love to you. Thank you for your kind message, for all the hearts, and see you very soon. See you in the next session. And for the ones that you come to the jungle, see you in the jungle. For the ones that you are in school, and all the other retreats. And just to let you know that we are coming to Ibiza. And we are opening Ibiza this year. So I hope to see you in Ibiza too, that we can start traveling the world in this conscious community of people that we want to be together in these environments. And have a beautiful night, everyone. Have a beautiful night. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Satya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Satya.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You never stop
Thank you.
inspiring.
Mm.
Доброй
Thank
ночи.
you so much.
Доброй ночи.
Доброй
Everyone,
ночи.
let's open the microphones.
Bonne nuit, bonne nuit.
Hey, good night, everyone. Have a
Good
beautiful
night.
Good
Good night, everyone.
Boa
Thank you,
noite.
Satya.
Thank you, beautiful.
Obrigada, boa noite.
Boa
Muito
noite.
obrigada.
Deixa ter problemas de. Whatever. Ai, eu tô falando. Yeah.
Satya.
Yes.
You are so beautiful.
You are amazing, Katya.
Thank you, thank you. You too, sweethearts. Thank you for all these moments together. We are lucky, huh, that we have these moments, that we create this. So good. It's better than Yellowstone series. We are the Yellowstone series. Everybody,
Satya,
yes.
I was not there since the beginning. So may I ask you how can I have a session with you? What are your activities, next ones?
Sorry, who is speaking?
Miguel.
Here. Okay, now I found you. So, então, Miguel, I will speak in English, okay, Miguel?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not giving individual sessions because I have all these school and projects retreats, and they don't allow me enough time. I don't have enough time. But in our community, there's a lot of good awareness facilitators that they were my students, and now they are fantastic therapists that I would recommend. Normally, I only go through now suicides or heavy depression, so I can help the person, but always with the person by my side, awareness facilitated that can be stable in the therapy. Because imagine I'm in the retreat and then you are 15 days that I can't really be there. So I work in those very
Extreme cases.
yes, with another awareness facilitator, so the person never stays alone. Okay.
Of course.
So one of our main team members, they sent here a message, but if you want, you can call us. Of course, imagine that you have a question that you would like my opinion. We can arrange by voice message or I call you, but then you are follow up with another person, okay? Because I don't have enough time to be consistent and I don't want to leave anyone by themselves, of course.
Okay, understood. Okay, thank you very much. And how can I have the contacts? Is it in your site or?
Here in message, I believe that someone already wrote here the page.
On chat, okay.
Yes, and there's the phone is always there, so you call directly. I don't know, tell me if you want to write here immediately, if you want.
Yeah, I saw
will
it.
write you a direct message with my number, okay?
Okay.
You can start this conversation with Thelma and then we will be there for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Beijinhos, beijinhos.
Good night, beautiful Satya.